Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 100. In this video, I'm going to show you how to improvise over a 1-6-2-5 chord progression. And the 1-6-2-5 chord progression is probably one of the most popular chord progressions next to the 1-4-5 progression. And it's very important to understand how it works and how to improvise over it. So we're going to start off by just talking a little bit about what it is, the 1-6-4-5. It's basically just 4 chords in any particular key. So let's see. And basically a key and a scale mean the same thing, right? Okay, so the key of C is generally the C major scale. That's how you get the key. And so what I could do is I'll show you right here on this circle of fifths here. And I have the C, the key of C, colored here in yellow. And you can see C. The 1 chord is C. The 2 chord is a D minor. I'm just going up the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G, A. And we're going to leave B out for right now, which is a 7, which is a half diminished chord. So as you can see, the 1 chord is the tonic, okay? And it's the tone which the scale is made up of. So that's the 1 chord. The 2 chord is a D minor chord, as you can see right there, the D minor. The 3 chord is an E minor. The 4 chord is an F major. And the 5 chord is a G major. Also a G7, which is the dominant chord. Every key has the 1-5 chord in it. That's a dominant chord. By the way, the 4 chord is the subdominant. And the 5 chord is the dominant. The 6 chord is an A minor. It's the relative minor. And like I said, the 7 chord is a half diminished, but it's not in there right now. Okay. So now that we have that understood, the major chords in here are the C, the F, and the G. There's 3 major chords. And, you know, basically when you're playing a C chord, which is the 1 chord, you can play this over and over again, right? 1, 2, 3. It's kind of boring, right? Like, where do you go from there, right? Well, you can go to any one of these chords in this particular key, or any key, but in this particular instance, you know, the 1 chord can go anywhere, right? So say we go to a 6 chord, or 1 to a 6, which would be C to A minor. Or actually, let's back up a second. So from C, we hit a G chord. You see how that leads back to the C? It's a dominant chord. It's the C. So we can play a progression where it's a little bit more than just a C major. It's like this. And G. All right. Or we could add another chord. We could add the 2 chord in there. It'll be like this. So it's starting to become more of a progression, a little bit more interesting. Now we can add 1 more chord in there, A minor. Let's see. So basically, when you hit the 1 chord, you can go anywhere, right? So we're gonna go to the 6 chord. And when you go from the 6 chord basically wants to go to the 2 chord, which is a D minor. And this 2 chord wants to go to the 5. Back to the 1. And the reason for that is because you have the C chord, you have this A. The A is really the fifth of D, and the D is the fifth of G. That's why you lead to that chord. That's why it sounds so good. That's why they work well together, these chords. So if you're enjoying this video, please tap the like button, hammer on the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, all that groovy stuff. All right. So I have a little progression here, and I'm going to show you the scale right here we're going to use. Basically, if you play the C major scale over this progression, you really can't go wrong. Just play the I'll even kick on a little boost here to there's some delay on. My MXR booster pedal. Any of this gear that if you're interested in any of it, I have links in the description, including my Telecaster, my delay, and boost. And my loop pedal, which is the RC5, and I created this little loop right here. It's basically a 1-6-2-5 in the key of C. Now look, you could play this scale. Let's check it out. It's a 2, 6 chord, 2 chord. Right up the scale. You can't hit a bad note. Right? So you're just running up the C major scale. All these notes are in the key of C. You can also target certain notes. 2 chord, 5 chord, play the third of C. All right. I know I went a little bit off here, but made it a little bit more complicated. But there's a lot of things you could do. This is one of the most famous chord progressions, like I said, next to the 1, 4, 5. And you could basically keep it really, really simple, which is what I was trying to do. Then you get a little carried away. So stay in C, learn the C major scale all over. I was basically just playing in this one position right here that I have the chart up for. You can play 3 notes per string. You play it in different positions everywhere. You can play it, just look for the C note. That's basically what I do. Look for the C. Here's a C. Then you know where the scale is. And here's a C note up here. Down here. Down here. And I'm bending notes up. I tend to do this lick a lot, where I find the half steps in the scale, and I bend up those half steps. If I'm B to a C, and if I'm an E to an F. So it's basically the 7th to the root, and then the 3rd to the 4th, the 7th, once again the 7th to the root. So I go over a lot of this as well in my course that I have. I'll tell you about that real quick. It's called the Essential Skills course, Essential Skills Collection for Guitar. You can find it at my website, jerrycherry.com, and I go over 3 important topics. Fretboard memorization, so you could basically do what I was just describing, finding all the notes all over the neck. The second part is the circle of fifths, where you could really come up with interesting chord progressions. In that circle lies all of music. And 3, playing the blues. And that's where you get all your soul and feel from. So check out the course on my website, jerrycherry.com, and that'd be very cool of you. Thank you. So let's see. We'll keep this kind of short today. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I know we're going to get out here and go to the park and enjoy some of this beautiful fall weather that we have here. And also, having some coffee, waking up today. Get to the last drop, almost. So, I also did something a little bit interesting that you might like. At the very end of the progression, when it gets to the G chord, that's basically that's the dominant chord that leads back to the C. And one little trick that I learned was that over that chord, you could kind of get out of that scale and play any note you want, as long as you end up back on the C. Like what I did there was whatever position I was in, like say I was over here playing in C. Over this the C shape right here. I basically went down chromatically, or something like this. Ended on a C note. But I went outside of the scale, and it sounded kind of cool. Maybe you didn't like it, but you could mess around with stuff like this. Or go like a... Or if you're up here... Ended up on a C. All kinds of crazy stuff you could do over that one chord. I'll show you a little example of it. Over the 4th chord. Hello, PCH. What's happening? Random question. Okay. I'm open for random questions. We got, but do 1, 3, 4 alternate picking exercise improve 3-string strumming as well? Let's see. 1, 3, 4 alternate picking exercise. Well, when I think of 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3, 4 alternate picking exercises, I guess thinking something like this. What's like? Actually, keep it in C. I can go right here. 1, 3, 4. Is that what you mean? Like the 1, 3, 4 alternate picking? Like this? And does it improve strumming? Does it improve strumming as well? Well, I guess it would, because you're practicing alternate picking, which will be the same thing as a. It's all in the wrist and the wrist movement. If you want to do a pattern like that, it's a very common strumming progression like this. So whenever you're alternate strum, how would you call it? If you're alternate strumming, whenever you're practicing relaxing your wrist and definitely helps. It all helps. I don't think they're completely different concepts. Or do they also improve 1 string? It definitely helps. Practicing alternate picking definitely helps on multiple strings. An exercise I learned a while ago was all 4 strings. Or 1, 3, 4, like you were saying. 1, 2, 4. And then back 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good exercise. Good morning, Ozman. And thank you very much, PCH. Very cool of you to say. And good morning, Ozman. We're doing some improv over a 1, 6, 2, 5 progression. right. Hey, rocking the Rockies. You know what, Ozman? That's really, really great. I'm one of my favorite bands of all time, Queensryche. Love them. And do a lesson on some of the interesting chord progressions of Queensryche. Man, I never really studied like their music all that much. I've listened to them all my life and always appreciate it. The only one that I kind of ever played was Silent Lucidity, that riff. And that's a pretty cool one. That's a great song. But I go back to all the really old stuff as well. And really, really great band. One of my favorites of all time. I could listen to them every day. And but thank you. I want to figure out how to do something like that. Let me know. Like, how can I really kind of approach that? But it's really, really a great idea, Ozman. Rocking the Rockies. Good morning. Good to see you. Rockin' Rockies is an excellent guitar player. Definitely check him out, Really tons of feel. Good stuff. So I have a really cool thing. It's a very simple Miss Tate. Yeah, Miss Tate and Queensryche too. Although the other singer is really good. What's his name? Latour. Really pulls it off well. It's hard to sing like Jeff Tate, right? But he does it. And even Jeff Tate has his version now of Queensryche. And I really don't like bands that replace the singers, generally, But in this case, I think most of the original band is there. And then they brought in a singer who could actually hit the notes, which is cool. And I think they're a better band than Jeff Tate's version of Queensryche. And then we're going off on a rant. Todd. Is it Todd Latour? Something like that. But he's great. Great singer. Wow. He's got some pipes on him, right? So hopefully you found this helpful today. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And we basically, we came up with a 1-6-2-5 progression, which is very common. You can even play it in like the jazz sense, where it's like a, kind of like a jazzy version. But for the sake of just improvising over it, just want to understand the 4 chords and how he came up with them. Eddie Van Halen did good with it. Yeah. I love Sammy. That's maybe the one. I definitely love Sammy as well with Van Halen. But it still doesn't match the Roth. Van Halen is that era, I think, of David Lee Roth, Although Sammy was a better singer, of course. Eddie would have told you that too. But it works. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your Sunday so far. Thanks for spending a little time with me here today. If you popped in a little bit late, definitely go back and check out some of the things I talked about earlier. It's really, really cool how you can start off with just the basic C chord progression. And you can go to any chord on this chart as well. And if you end up on say you wanted to go to a 6. 6 chord generally wants to go to a 2 chord. So you would go to the D. 2 chord wants to go to a 5 chord. And that's all because they're 5th apart from each other. The A is a 5th away from D. If that was a subdominant chord, you hear that going to the D? If that was a subdominant chord, you go to a G. The G is a dominant chord. To a C. If it these were major chords, it would sound like this. But in the simplest version of it, it's just a 1, 6, 4, 2, 5. And over the scale right here, you could do this progression and just hit any one of these notes. You know, you don't have to think too much about stuff like this, you know, you just play through the scale. I would say, like, you know, when it gets to the 5 chord, you could come up with some interesting things, like over the G. You could do that little descend thing right there. Or you could play outside of the key. Like something like this. Get a little crazy there, right? But having some fun with it. So over the G chord, the 5 chord, play anything, but just land on a chord tone from the C. If you're going down chromatically, so that resolves nicely. They wrote great songs with Sammy Hagar. One of my favorite albums was definitely For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. That was actually later on in there, but that was one of my favorite with Sammy. And not as much OU812. 5150 is great. That sounded like it could have been like a Roth record, you know. But that was quite a record right there. Definitely my favorite, 5150. Summer Nights, 5150, great songs. Rockin' the Rockies. I've been playing a lot in drop D and use the C, G, D, and A in my chord progressions. Drop D, use the C, G, D. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see, playing in drop D a lot and use the C, G, D. So the C chord, the G chord, and the D chord in the progressions. Okay. Very, very, very cool. So if we look here at the circle of fifths, we can get out of this one, the C, for a second. Which is the blank chart. Basically, in the key of D, you have all those chords you can work with. I think you're basically taking the key of G, really, because right there you have in the key of G. If you look there at 1 o'clock, where you see the G note, you'll see the G and all the chords that relate to G. They have the D in there as well. A D is a 5 chord, and the C is a 4 chord in there. You have your A minor, you have an E minor, you have a B minor. So technically you can use all those chords right there to get that effect right there. If you drop it, let's do maybe a little example real quick. Right, you have your G. You have a D chord. It's open. And there's your G right there, right? There's your F. And D. You can hit a B minor in there as well. An A minor. Or an A major. Saying you use a C, C chord here. You're using a G chord right here with the low. And for an A. No, it's a G chord right here. So F, D. Sorry, I was all messed up. Detuning screws me up sometimes. Something like that. We have a D chord, a G chord, C, and an A. F, G. Something like that, right? I don't really play in drop tunings too much, but definitely appreciate that. You can use this chord thing for anything, really. You can borrow, if you're in D also, you can go to the key of D and use those chords. So I give a little brief study of a quick tutorial on the circle of fifths. I'll put a video up in the description about that. You can check that out as well. Have you seen Wolfgang do some of his father songs? Yes, I saw that for the what was it, the Taylor Hawkins tribute when he played Panama and On Fire. Man, it's Wolfgang, with a name like Wolfgang, taken after Mozart there, right? But come on, you're Eddie Van Halen's son, and what do you expect? The guy is just great. He plays all Van Halen stuff, very smooth. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone really kind of play it with the same inflections like that. And you kind of see it, when he smiles. Wolfgang, you see a little bit of Eddie smiling there. It's good. It gives you a little bit of like, I always thought that when Eddie Van Halen passed away, that's like the day the music. That's the day the music died. But to see it in Wolfgang, see Eddie Van Halen in there, it makes you feel like he's still with us. It's really, really cool. So I appreciate that. I appreciate him out there well and away doing his thing. It's really cool. Kid's amazing. That's right. And I feel like silly because I never really listened to the album. I want to go and listen to his record and see what that's all about as well. Because that's really where it's, you can sit there, you can play your dad's licks all day long, but is he writing great stuff like his old man, Probably. But I couldn't tell you because I haven't listened to it. So I've heard clips of it live, some stuff, and I always thought, wow, that's really good. His singing, just amazing too, right? Osman. Oh, that's up, Mr. Tom. Good to see you, Tom G. What's happening? Give you a round of applause. And John 5 is taking over from Mick. Are you kidding me, really? Because I heard the other day that Mick Mars, first of all, I saw a couple posts and I was like, oh my God, I hope he didn't pass away. It's the first thing you see when you start seeing a bunch of posts. So I checked it out and apparently he just quit Motley Crue. Which is, it's about time, because he's always had health issues, Mick Mars, and I know I hate to see anyone with that, and but I guess it's time. It's, if he's having health issues and he can't get out there anymore, it's very rigoring. Is that the right word? Rigorous. Yeah, to play. I mean, I just played 2 nights in a row. My body's falling apart, But that's very cool. I mean, John 5's an amazing guitar player playing in Motley Crue, really? He fits. He fits the bill. He fits the suit. So more power to you. I actually ran into John 5 once at a hotel. I was playing in the same place. I was playing at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. The Mohegan Sun, the Wolf's Den. It's a small little theater inside, beautiful place, and he was playing with Rob Zombie at the time in the theater outside, and when I was playing in the Chubby Checker band, and our MD was Tommy Clefetos, who's a sax player. His son is Tommy Clefetos, the drummer for Rob Zombie at the time. So we went over before our show and watched their opening in a golf cart. They drove us over, and we watched the opening. We rushed back and then did our set. It was pretty funny. That is the rumor. Oh, so it's a rumor. It's not for sure. Come on, Osman. You gotta let me know these things for sure before you spread vicious rumors. That's all right. It's okay. Hopefully he gets the gig. Why not? Like, that'd be a dream come true, like playing a Motley Crue. Come on. Imagine that. Man. All I know is when I was 14 years old, I was one of the first kids on the block that knew of when the first record came out. I even put Crue on my, like they had it, except they were tattooed. I think I used a marker and put like CRUE on my knuckles. People were like, what's that? Come on, it's Motley Crue. Don't you know? All right. So hopefully, guys, we're kind of just like shooting the right now. But, we did talk about some music, some playing earlier, right? So hopefully you got something out of this. And thanks for spending some time with me here on a Sunday. You got a million things you could do, but thanks for popping in, saying hello, and playing some guitar. Hopefully you found this helpful. And if you have any questions about any of this other stuff, let me know in the comment section. I know that Osman wants to hear some Queensryche stuff. So it's like I'm not gonna play it exactly because I'll get a copyright claim. But it's something like that, right? Something like that, right? That's pretty cool too, right? Didn't put me too far out of tune. Very hard to nail down. Yeah, Godsmack. You like Godsmack? Yeah. I remember them when they came out, and I liked a lot of their songs. I wasn't into such heavy stuff at that time, but I could definitely appreciate what they did. You know, very heavy, great songs. Excuse me. Back in the day. And hopefully they're still out there jamming. Godsmack. I mean, they were rocking. They were one of the biggest bands in the world when I was in South Florida. I don't know about. Sometimes it's weird. Like some towns play different styles of music. Like in New York, I don't think the stuff I listened to in South Florida was as popular on the radio. Queensryche, very classical guitar. I loved Queensryche, yeah, for sure. You know, going back to the first record, the lady wore black, and they got Take Hold of the Flame. I just saw a video of LaFleur. What was his first name again? You had mentioned it to me. He nailed that. Hit that high note at the beginning too. Crazy. Chris DeGarmo. And actually one of my favorite Queensryche records was Here and the Now, Frontier, which came out in 97. That was the last record with Chris DeGarmo. And after that, I kind of lost. They to be quite honest with you, the writing dropped off tremendously when Chris DeGarmo left, because he was the writer. He wrote, I guess, most of the stuff in the band and kept it together. But Todd LaFleur. So definitely love Queensryche, and I would go see them with him for sure. I'd go see it with Jeff Tate, because I'm a huge Jeff Tate fan. Operation Mindcrime. Those records, man, I love those records. And Empire. What a record. Can't imagine like Jeff Tate being a pilot. I don't know if I get in a plane with him. We are here. We've arrived. Sit back and enjoy your flight. I'm losing my mind now. It's hot in here. It's like 40 degrees outside, but I think they have the heat on. And of course I have my windows shut because you'd hear cars honking and driving by. So we're having some fun, just to mess around. But anyway, I guess I'm going to run. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Go back, listen to the, DeGarmo. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, he seems to have a little bit more together to fly a plane, you know. Jeff Tate up in the air. I don't know. So, all right. Well, there's not much more I could kind of backtrack to the music part of this lesson. So we're just chatting, and that's fun. It's actually more fun sitting here talking about Queensryche than playing the 1-6-2-5 progression. But I think we got the idea. We got the point across. If there's anything else, let me know in the comment section. Keep it coming. I'm gonna surprise you with some Queensryche. I'd have to study it myself to do that. A little bit more deeper dive into how and what they like to use in their progressions. So very cool. Or you could help me out if there's something. What I know you want to know more about Queensryche and about their chord progressions, but let me know if there's anything in particular, because it's a very wide spectrum to Queensryche's music, So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Love talking about Queensryche or anything rock and roll music. It's a lot of fun. So, what else? Is there anything I wanted to say here? We talked about my course, guitar course. And go every Sunday. I think next Sunday I'll be back here. Let me just double check real quick. Because I've been switching it around, but trying to keep it on Sunday. So next Sunday would be the 6th. And yes, it's daylight savings time. So I have to make sure let's see it. It's fall backwards, right? So we actually lose an hour. But 12 o'clock is 12 o'clock no matter what. So we'll see you next Sunday at 12 o'clock. And so good seeing you guys. Thank you, Ozman. Thank you, Rockin' the Rockies. You guys are all rocking. Very, very cool of you to spend some time with me here today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tom G. So good to see you. And go back to PCH. Is that Pacific Coast Highway? I had some PCH clothes when I was growing up. All right, have a great week. Peace out. Have a great Sunday. Love you guys. If you want to see a video I made on the Circle of Fifths, I'll put it right up there. But remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. You guys have a great week, great Sunday. I love yous, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Ciao.